Okay. Let's now pass and talk about your reporting line as the Provincial Commissioner. Who is your immediate boss?
General Masimula.
General Masimula.
That's correct.
General Sibiya alleges that in terms of the structural arrangement at SAPS, you are supposed to be reporting to him, and that's not the case. He makes it appear that you're supposed to report, but defiantly, you are not reporting to him.
No, I do not report to any of the generals in the police except the National Commissioner. Neither any of the provincial commissioners report to anyone else except the National Commissioner.
Okay. Let's take it back to the meeting between a police official and a criminal, as you call it. General Sibiya testified that the meeting was successful to an extent that the mediation was signaled to be successful by the gesture that you even shook hands there at the meeting.
Honorable Chair and members, what I can indicate on the meeting, when the minister started introducing the purpose of what the meeting is about, the question I asked the minister was, Minister, you are calling this meeting few months after we hosted the Interpol police chiefs in KwaZulu-Natal in Durban when they came to celebrate the police day with us in January. You are now a few months later inviting us to come and forge a peace between me and Sibiya. The Sibiya that I was hosting in KZN in January, sitting, I even took him on an excursion on a boat, sitting with him next to the boat to give him comfort in the water, enjoying the refreshments that was provided. He was talking to me, all was good. For every other meetings that we meet at the POC, we talk. Sergeant Nkosi kept coming to me and said he wants to arrange a meeting between me and Sibiya. Sibiya is asking to meet with me. So I kept asking Nkosi, I said, what is it with Sibiya? Because I go to the meetings in Pretoria. We interact there in the meeting. Why doesn't he tell me what he wants to tell me if there's something? So I did not understand what is this peace talk about. So because it was proven in that meeting that it's not clear as to what the fight is about, so that means we must go back and work as we're supposed to be working. So that's how the meeting ended. But I learned later that Minister Mkhulu did good to Sibiya about the meeting. Actually, the meeting was supposed to be engaged by Minister Cele before. Because Sibiya had approached Minister Cele and Sibiya had approached the National Commissioner to arrange the same. But the reason I'm told that Cele and the National Commissioner did not do that meeting is because of Sintumule, who told them that Sibiya told him that Mr. Balula from the EFF is the one he spoke to organize the meeting.
Balula from the EFF?
Mr. Mbalula from EFF? Oh, sorry, yes. Mr. Oh, yes.
Malema.
Malema from EFF. I'm bad with these mixing up of names. My apologies. Mr. Julius Malema from EFF was going to
have a problem with names today. You always twist them around.
Mr. Julius Malema, these allegations. Mr. Julius Malema, Sibiya has spoken to Julius Malema to arrange a meeting between me and Sibiya. So there's no need for the Minister Mcele and the National Commission to arrange. So this I hear from the National Commission. Why do I say this, Honorable Chair? Is that after Sibiya testified before the Nhlanhla Commission, Sibiya says to the Commission, I recorded Sintumule because the National Commission had confronted me about what Sintumule told him that I said. And as a result, Sibiya felt that he must record Sintumule. Hence the recording we're listening to here. That was Sibiya justifying why he recorded Sintumule. So when I asked the National Commission, I said, Sibiya is saying this, is it true? The National Commission said, yes, it's true. We were sitting in a police jet. And Sintumule told both, I don't know how the conversation came about, but he told both Cele and the National Commission, he said, no, Sibiya he said he's sorted, he has asked Julius to help him to set up a meeting between himself and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. So maybe there's no need for you. That's when the Minister Cele and the National Committee said, we're no longer going to be part of that. So I then discovered that means this peace talk was not starting with Minister Mkhwanazi. It's something that should have been done back then, was not done. But then in my own analysis, where this peace talk come from, in the main, I think it comes from the fight that we had over the AKA matter. That investigation of AKA, which sibiya wanted to interfere with. I suspect, I don't know the reason for that. But subsequent to that, I believe that the other things happened in Gauteng, and he felt that maybe I'm closer to Gerald Khumalo and the other people. Perhaps to have him getting things done, he must come through me. I don't know.
Did you shake hands?
Well, I cannot remember whether we shook hands on the day, but we spoke.
You smoke a peace pipe?
Not peace pipe, we spoke.
Do you consider General Sibiya a criminal?
From the evidence that I had picked up before the July 6th and what I've heard now, what Nhlanhla told me about him is true.
And you still maintain that there can never be peace between you, as a police officer, and him, because he's a criminal?
Well, there was, at the time I made a statement of peace between a police officer and a criminal, not necessarily saying sibiya per se. I can tell you now that there cannot be peace between me and Gerald Sibiya.
Okay. Now let's take matters to the PKTT.
Yes, sir.
Amongst issues that were testified here by both the minister and General Sibiya was that amongst a lot of reason that has led to the directive of the 31st of December is a work study of 2019 that has enlightened the department to do away mostly with non-permanent structures. Hence, it led to the dissolution of the PKTT. Are you aware of the work study?
Well, when the minister came to display it here before the ad hoc committee, but as a senior manager in the police, I was never briefed about that work study.
Okay. Then amongst other things is the fact that it became too costly to run the PKTT. And amongst issues that were cost drivers was issues relating to overtimes, issues relating to subsistence and travel, issues relating to laundry, even laundry, issues relating to accommodation for members of the PKTT. Would you agree with such assertions?
Allegations were made and they've been disputed by the Chief Financial Officer of the South African Police Service that appeared before you. So it is not true.
Okay. Now, part of what would have been testified before the committee is that this thing of some senior SAPS top management members appearing surprised with the 31st December letter is actually a fiction, because there would have been numerous meetings that sat between the ministry and the top management of SAPS who actually worked towards a plan for the dissolution of the political killings task team. So have you been part of those meetings? If not, are you aware of such meetings and all that?
Well, I was never in any of the meeting that sat and discussed the dissolution of the task team. Hence, my effort to try and reach out to the minister in January as soon as I learned of the letter, which was not successful. I've been in the meetings where the minister has been chairing. One significant meeting that drew my attention, and I started because of the past experience, where I started questioning the motive behind, was a meeting that was held in Pretoria at Kivitsgrund. That meeting, when it was sanctioned, I think it was a Friday in November somewhere, 21, if I'm not mistaken, the date. I was in KZN with the Minister of Public Works. There was a event at ICC. The minister was there. When that meeting ended, the minister then spoke about this meeting that it was going to be in Pretoria. And I told him I'm not going to attend. And he pleaded with me that I must come. And I said, no, but I need to be in engagement in Pietermaritzburg. Then I cannot go there. I was summoned to be in Maritzburg, otherwise I'm going to have a problem. So he then asked me to negotiate with those people not to attend. And I still said to him, but Minister, you want all the generals there, but the two generals are in China. And I think they're coming back on Thursday or Friday. They won't be able to attend the meeting. Then he says, no, well, he's going to check. And he came back to me and said, yeah, no. The two generals are landing on Thursday, and on Friday, they're going to be there in the meeting. So I then also got a permission to be excused in the meeting I was supposed to attend. I went to Pretoria because all the generals and the police were invited. So we went to Kivitskroon. The surprise that happened at Kivitskroon is that other generals were there when the minister was there. When General Kumalo walked in, next thing the instruction was all those generals from head office are not needed in that meeting. They were excused. He is one of them. They had left their offices, cancelled their diaries because of this invitation. When they arrived there, I think because of the presence of Kumalo, things changed. So they were all kicked out. It was only the minister, the his deputy, the national commissioner, head of DPCI, ourselves as provincial commissioners, and the deputies that were there. Only. But what was discussed in the meeting that was of concern? We were given a lecture by Vusi Pikoli, who's a legal advisor of the minister. He gave us a lecture about the Constitution, about the Act, that we, for the past 30 years, we've been enforcing. He was lecturing us about it. The powers of the minister, this. Because I had been part of these transitions in the police over time, I could tell that something is coming. I concluded that something is coming out of this. And I'm going to invite the ad hoc committee to invite the DG, the Director General, who's responsible legally that you have created a structure of government to oversee and guide the Minister of Police in the right thing. And there's a DG at the Civilian Secretariat, Mr. Sboy. In all what you're talking about, there is no DG in part being involved, being consulted, being engaged, advice that he gives. There's nothing. But you go to the Police Act, you find the Civilian Secretariat supposed to do a certain functions. Minister has not been engaged in them, including the letter of December. That DG doesn't know about the letter. And yet legally is appointed to give this advice to the minister. But the only person who was directing the minister was Advocate Pikoli. So that lecture, that meeting indicated to me there's something coming. But beyond that meeting, I don't know, up until eventually the letter came out, which itself was not sent to me.
So the lecture did not indicate that it's preparing for the dissolution of task teams or a task team.
No, it didn't. The emphasis on that letter was to remind us about the powers of the minister. That was the point that we were driving. The minister has the powers. The section of the Constitution gives the minister powers. This is the powers of the minister. These are powers of the minister. So at all time, that was a message that was cutting across. That's why I could conclude that I was the senior manager in the police from 2012, or from 2011, actually. So I've seen it all. I could read that something big is coming out of this, although I did not know what it is. So later, when the letter came out, I then started wondering that could it be the build-up to this?
So you're also not part of the 1st November and the 22nd November 2024 meetings?
No, I was not there.
You're also not part of the meetings that were dealing with the organizational structure of SAPS?
Honorable Chair and members, the disease that we have in the South African Police Service, again, is that the Police Act gives the powers to the National Commissioner to organize the service, not the minister. So for the minister coming here and say he was part of the structural thing, he gives himself powers that he doesn't have. So the discussion they were having, I was not part of. And I'm sure all the provincial commissioners that are there in terms of the Constitution, they were not invited to be part of it. The only engagement we've ever had regarding the new structure, which the minister was referring to, is when we invited in Pretoria the Board of Commissioners. The person who was presiding over the meeting was Gerald Musikiti, if I'm not mistaken, with sibiya sitting on the high table. The rest of us were in that conference. What was presented in that meeting was the new structure. A new structure that my comment was, we cannot just keep on restructuring without applying our minds. You created division because you want to please someone. a lieutenant general, you're going to pay 2 million rand salary plus the vehicles that you must have, plus the staff in the office. The cost of one lieutenant general, it's a lot of money. So you can't keep on creating structures, blocks that are not well informed. So that was the engagement. I'm sure you can find minutes of that. That is the only time where we engage on the structure. But we said, in any way, we are talking about the structure. The only National Commission has the powers. The structure presented to us is already signed. So we are just discussing after the fact. We can't do anything about it. So whether what led into that structure being the blocks is put and the National Commission signing was preceded by a meeting with the minister, we were not part of it, at least provincial commissioners. I can speak on their behalf.
Okay. Now, the evidence leader asked you about a funeral of Nhlanhla, whom you regarded as your friend and a brother. Were you very close to Mr. Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi?
I was not very close to Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, but I was close to his brother, his elder brother. I happened then to get to know Nhlanhla, but to the extent that we can say we're close, not much.
Were you the first?
When I, for a typical example, when I go to a soccer stadium, I'll go with his brother, not him.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's not a person that I was having that relationship, but I knew him because of his brother.
Were you the first one or amongst the first people who arrived at the crime scene when he was shot dead?
I will not remember exactly who was there, but to the extent that the brother called me to go to the crime scene, so somebody might have witnessed the murder and contacted the brother. And for me to travel from Montana to get to that plot, surely there might have been people in there. I cannot remember because it's not what is in my head. But definitely there will have been people in there. But who it was, what I know, his brother was not there because he's the one who asked me to come clean early.
But do you understand this insinuation in that statement, without having been expressly said, is that it may happen that you would have known about that prior it happened, hence you were amongst the first people, if not the first person to arrive at the crime scene. And it goes further when it is testified by Mr. McBride that time Mkhwanazi was even in HR. So an insinuation that people would have been expected to arrive earlier are the police officers on duty in preventing crime. So do you understand that kind of insinuation?
Definitely, I do understand. I think that's why I kept on saying, honorable members, that I think that case needs to be started afresh. There are things that are not being brought into the open about that case. I don't believe that everything that was done to close that case was justified. That case might need to be reopened. Some things that are hidden in that docket. I'm grateful for the fact that, as we say, I was at HR and other places, minding my business in Montana. The person that mobilized me to get there is a brother. Had he not called me and given me the location, I would not have gone there. Even his house, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, where eventually I ended up, was his brother that took me to the house. Because otherwise I did not know. I was always meeting him at the brother's house in Central. That's where I was always meeting him, not where Nhlanhla's house was. So Mr. McBride making an insinuation that goes all the way to me not attending the funeral. At least from my side, the brother knows everything and he was there and he saw me, not even me alone, with my wife there. So that's the advantage that at least I have. So for the fact that he's making those statements, it makes me suspect that perhaps Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's murder might involve people that he was close to.
Another insinuation in respect to Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's murder is that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi deposed an affidavit to IPID that implicates you of having a hand in trying to sabotage the case against General Nhlanhla. And he was later after that killed. Another insinuation in this assertion, which was also said by Mr. McBride, is that there would have been a dialectical relationship between the deponent or the statement deposed to IPID against you and the murder of Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Do you understand that insinuation as well?
I do very well.
What is your take on it?
Oh, the question is why to date Mkhwanazi has never even at least been brought to be questioned about that by a person who claims to have led the investigation and is still part of the security cluster. Why to date he has never been caught? So for what he's saying, if there was a statement, might have been fabricated. If there is a statement, perhaps there's not even a statement for that matter. But it doesn't surprise me because one, I get the information now about why crime intelligence is not finalizing my security clearance. One of the things I mentioned in that reason is that there is a case docket open in Pretoria against Nhlanhla and his wife and someone else, where I'm implicated in it. It is that docket that makes crime intelligence not to issue me with the security clearance. That is many years back. To date, nobody has ever come to me to ask me questions. So it might have been maybe the case does exist, maybe there was a statement in there that was fabricated, but I've never been involved with anything on Nhlanhla. Nhlanhla was the acting national commissioner at the time. He became my boss. But other than that, we will only meet at the gym in Montana. That's all I knew about him. No other relationship.
Lastly, did you submit the video or the record of your meeting with Mr. Nhlanhla and General Senona to the evidence leaders?
No, I did not.
Can you please assist us with that?
I will have to speak to the investigation team because when we conducted that, it was part of the criminal investigations that we're busy with.
Do you love Tupac?
Second?
Do you love Tupac?
Do I love Tupac?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Why did you send General Spear a song that says we'll kill them at night whilst they are sleeping?
I did not send it to Spear.
Isn't it to?
It is now me understanding that the person whom I had sent that song to was Sergeant Nkosi. Sergeant Nkosi sent it to both Steve Mutsume and Spear.
Sergeant Nkosi says you sent him a song that says last motherfucker standing. Breathing, sorry. Then the other one you sent either to Shibiri or Spear, I don't know, but the Spear was complaining about it. That you send people midnight songs that you'll kill them at night while they are still sleeping.
No, I did not. He can show you his phone. I did not communicate with Spear and send him anything. So
but you did
might be reading something from somewhere. What I believe you might have read or listened to the song that I sent to Nkosi, because Nkosi did send it to him.
Okay. No, that was in passing.
Yeah, he's a good artist. He was a good artist.
Chair, I think in respect of what the general has submitted relating to what would be seen as an affidavit handwritten by him, my worry firstly is that it looks like it will be hard for us to question the general around the contents of that affidavit on the basis that he does confirm that he got it from someone else who gave it to someone else who took it from someone else, and he can't surely verify or confirm the contents that are contained in that affidavit. And if you check the nature of the affidavit, Chair, it's an affidavit that has not been commissioned. It's handwritten. It has not been commissioned. Yes, there is a signature at page 8 at the end of that affidavit. And looking at the contents, Chair, it contains a lot of serious big allegations against a number of people who are presiding actually over a number of institutions of government. So I would suggest, Chair, that we first seek for a confirmatory affidavit from this prime person, and two, we request the National Commissioner of Correctional Services to confirm in detail to us if there are people who would have been in at Hosimaboro Correctional Center who requested to see Mr. Prem in relation to this matter? Do they have in their record any form of visit to Mr. Nhlanhla on the 9th or 10th of September 2025? Was the allegation contained that is the lawyers of the minister who went and to see Mr. Nhlanhla in a way of trying to do some affidavit? I'm sure the affidavit was meant for the appearance, according to the allegation, was meant for the appearance of Mr. Nhlanhla before the committee. So I think, Chair, from where I'm seated, was he himself will find it difficult to confirm some of the contents in respect of that affidavit. Moving forward, Chair, I want us to go back, General, to the Mlochwa issue. The evidence leader did ask some of the questions.
Before you go ahead, must just concretize this and make sure or ascertain that the request that you place on record here has been captured by the Secretariat. Because I do. When when you were still out, the honorable member has placed a request on record for some information to be requested from correctional services. Okay. But I just wanted to make sure that that the request is recorded. Honorable member, you can proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you. That is confirmed. So, Mr. Mlochwa, General alleges that you unlawfully arrested and detained him on the borders of Mozambique without any form of a warrant, whether it's a search and seizure warrant or a warrant of arrest. He says to this committee, you called, or when I'm saying you, I mean maybe you or one amongst your team, called the authorities in Mozambique that he must be delivered to you at the border. So he was made to walk across the border through barefoot, being transferred from the Mozambique authorities to your team. And when he was in Mozambique on the basis of working as part of his business operations. What's your comment on that?
Yeah, well, I cannot confirm in terms of how in details he was arrested. What I know is that when they conducted the departmental investigation at his workplace, they had to confirm his legal status in Mozambique. And it was confirmed that the man was in Mozambique illegally. The Border Management Agency submitted a statement where they confirmed they don't have his records crossing the border. The police in Mozambique participated in assisting with that investigation. They engaged with the office, South African High Commission office in Mozambique to help bring the person back. And as a result, the South African High Commission that side issued a temporary passport, one-way transport, for him to be brought back into South Africa. So how did he get to Mozambique? I'm told by the team that they say he was running away with a victim. They took him to Mozambique. That's why he did not clear at customs. So if he was on business, he would have stamped his passport to go across. He came here and he said his passport was taken. But for me, the passport was not the issue. The issue was the authorities that are responsible for stamping the passport, they register you in the system. His name doesn't appear there. So which means, indeed, he did not cross legally.
Okay. He played a video of you here in relation to the burning of his house. And he says it is not true that the house was burnt by the community. You guys are doing a cover-up. the police or whoever was working with the police at the time, including a private individual who's a brother to the alleged person who has been kidnapped, connived and did a cover-up, burned the house and said the house was burnt by the community. And he actually brought an affidavit, handwritten affidavit, that he claimed was from the ward councillor. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware. However, I saw the videos that were played before this at the committee. I watched them.
Okay. So he says also there is a shop just across, close to the property that was burnt. And the police there's a camera in that shop. So police went to the owner of that shop and paid 2,000 rands for them to get the footage and destroy it. What is your knowledge about that?
I have the footage from that shop given by the same police that he alleges they destroyed.
Do you know about the 2,000?
No, I don't know about the 2,000. But I know about the footage and I shared it with the evidence leaders. It's a footage that I was saying that we can fly to jail if you so wish. If the team investigated and destroyed it, why did they share that with me? Because they claim that it is part of their case.
Okay. He also alleges that you, amongst the people who drove them to a farm, tortured them, made them strip naked, made mockery of them, and he said your attendance in the torturing was confirmed by his co-accused. That someone who was in the room or in the house or wherever it was in the farm said was his eyes were wrapped up. So someone said to the co-accused, please tell your co-accused who has arrived. And that person said, is the Provincial Commissioner of SAPS, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who has arrived in the scene where they were tortured. What's your comment on it?
Well, it's a total lie. What I'm glad is that if there is a case open to investigate, it would uncover those things. Because from what I was told is that I was implicated to be with the team the entire period, not only in one area. From what I gathered, that I was in the burning of the house and I was in the arrest in Joburg and every other place. But as I said earlier, the case is investigated by DPCI. DPCI. So I don't know the details, the date when they came in, how they booked them in and out of the correctional facilities, and what did they do after that? I don't have the details.
So okay, that's fine. I think let's pass this. Okay, the issue relating to. He says he is a co-complainant in the Nengi case that IP'd against you. Are you aware of that?
That's what I was told, that all three of them that were arrested, they opened a case. That's what I was informed by Jarosno. So I have not seen a docket, neither engaged with the investigating office. So I don't even know who the complaint is, except what Jarosno told me.
Yeah, he also says he got a confirmation from Nengi that you sent Nhlanhla to speak on your behalf that the complaint must be withdrawn.
I remember what I can confirm, what I can tell you is that there is an allegation that the Nangi story was discussed at the meeting at Nhlanhla. I've presented before this committee that the Nangi story is Nona that told me about how he and Ket Nhlanhla communicated with Nangi. So if Nangi, beyond that, shared the message with that member about it, that indeed there's something that Nhlanhla was talking to him about, it's up to them. I don't know. I don't know what's the story. Like I say, I've never been consulted about that case, so I don't know anything about it. To say there's a case, a story, the details of it, I don't even know the case number sitting in.
Okay. Who is Mr. Mutsumi?
It's $1 million question. I'm glad you're asking that question because Jarosno Nona, who was in a meeting with me, Nhlanhla, when they told me about Mutsumi, the Mutsumi's property, the location and everything, and how he and sibiya operate, they were afraid to read the name. He was afraid to read the name when he appeared at Nhlanhla Commission. And that made me realize that when they were afraid, at the time when they were telling me that I must not disclose that, and eventually when it had to be disclosed at Nhlanhla, they were worried. We listened to the evidence at Nhlanhla, how the name of Mutsumi keeps coming up. We hear from even Nkosi as I was testifying, how the name of Mutsumi. This morning I spoke to Nkosi, he phoned me. I asked him, I said, who is this Mutsumi? Why do you share my details to Mutsumi? What is of an interest? Mutsumi was mentioned by Kat at Nhlanhla. To me, it seems like Mutsumi is a big player. I then engaged, of course, after hearing them with the team in Gauteng investigating. So I don't want to give details about that. But his name is somewhere in the mix and very prominent for that matter.
So one would be justified to quickly make an assumption that he may be part of the big five cartel we're speaking about on the 6th of July.
What I can tell you that Mutsumi seems to be a powerful person within the police and outside the police. Very powerful.
But not in the employ of the police.
When I'm talking about the police, the stories are saying that it looks like there's some influence on appointments of the head of DPCIs in different provinces.
It looks like he is the one who may have expanded or extended the capture amongst police, senior police officials.
Yeah, well, his name, the way it comes out, and when you see the media not profiling the person and putting him out there, it just tells you the extent of perhaps the influence that the person has in our country, that even the big trusted journalists don't talk about.